Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Well, today is Friday. Yeah, but today we're going to deal with obligations. Then it's Friday, but we're going to start with a new unit, modal verbs, that states what kind of obligation or what kind of prohibitions or what kind of necessity or no necessity to do the things. And it's a very funny test of an English-speaking person learning a different language in a different country. What do you think about English people? Are they good at learning foreign languages? I don't think so. Then we start Friday. Then everybody open your books. We are on Unit 7C. Could you pass the test? Is the heading on page number 102, everybody. Yeah, 102, everybody. Yeah. Ready? Can you pass the test? We're going to see what kind of test. Ready? Steady. Go with the presentation. Here it is. Yeah. What I prepare for you. 7C, modal verbs, have to, tener que hacer algo, must, deber hacer algo, mustn't, prohibition, no debes hacer esto, and don't have to, no es necesario que lo hagas, si quieres lo haces y si no, no. Page 102. The title is, could you pass the test? ¿Podrías tú aprobar este test, este examen? Well, this is an English person asking for a cerveza. You are going to listen to him, por favor, una cerveza. Yeah, they speak like that Spanish, but we don't know how can we sound for an English-speaking person. Then speaking, well, I'm going to ask you some questions and go thinking which one could be the answers. Yeah. For example, have you ever spoken to a tourist in English? For example, you are in Benidorm or you are on holidays and as an English person, please, where is the pharmacy or where is, and could you answer him when you say, no, yo no soc así, segur que digueu, jo no soc así i no parleu anglès. Very bad. Have you ever needed to speak in English on the phone? Very difficult, yeah. To speak English on the phone is more difficult because we don't have face-to-face communication. No veiem a la persona, no ens pot ajudar en el body language que diguem, in the gestures. Send an email in English? I think so. Very important to write emails in English. Have you seen a film or video clip in English? With subtitles, without subtitles? Which film was it? Have you ever read a book or magazine in English? Hello, magazine, la hola. Ask for directions in English in a foreign city. You are in a foreign city abroad and you are lost. Then have you tried to ask the question in English? And the last one, have you ever used an app or website to improve your English? Duolingo, for example, is good, a good app, this kind of apps to improve your English, listening and speaking. And remember that you have your Oxford online practice to get practice. So, let's start today's lesson. This is the reading. Are the British really so bad at learning languages? ¿Son realmente tan malos en aprender idiomas? I think so, but I think so because they don't have the need. They don't have to learn. They have the English language, you know. Ellos saben inglés. They can travel. They can communicate and they don't need it. No hace falta. Well, reading. Are people from your country good at learning languages? Why not? Spanish people, well, I think that's not a problem of Spanish people, maybe it had been education. Do you think British people are good at learning new language? English people learning Spanish? Do you think are they good? Well, before reading, in the reading, you have different paragraphs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs. And you have to complete each paragraph with a topic sentence. When you write a letter, when you write a text, cuando escribimos un texto, al inicio de cada párrafo está como diríamos la idea general. Siempre te ponen la idea general y después van argumentando, continuando la argumentación. Estos son topic sentences, te introducen el tema del que habla la oración. Then you are going to read, vamos a ir leyendo, and think which one of these topic sentences goes in each paragraph. En cada párrafo, ¿qué significaría? For example, A, so what happened after 4 weeks? B, but what happens when a Brit tries to learn a new language after leaving school? C, Max decided to learn Spanish. D, motivation is obviously a problem. Then they don't feel motivated to learn English. They know English and that's all. E, the British are famous for preposition gerund. The British are famous for being bad at learning languages. And F, the situation in British schools doesn't help either. La situación en las escuelas inglesas no ayudan tampoco. Una negativa y el either al final significa tampoco ayuda mucho. Please, this is the time. I'm going to read the text. Go thinking which of these topic sentences and match each topic sentence with one paragraph. Then you pause the video. Pare el video and you do it on your own. You do it at your own pace. Yo juego. And after doing at home, you play it. Es cuando torneo a activar el video y ho corregim. It's the way it works. Ready? Then. Well, number 1, you have done it. It's E. ¿Quién era E? Let's say. The British are famous for being bad at learning languages. Ya tienen casi la idea y el párrafo continuará en esta idea argumentando. That's been true for a long time. In any city around the world, you can hear British tourists asking for the restaurant menu in English. Sometimes they try to say a couple of phrases in the local language, but they stop making an effort as soon as they discover that the waiter knows a little English. Some British people who live abroad often spend all their time with other Brits and never learn the language at all. Vienen hacia España y están todos chuntets, ¿no? Todos angleses chuntets, and they don't need make the effort, esforzarse. Then pause the video, pare el video, and do it at home. Did you do it now? Sure, segur que ho vau fer ja. Well, number 2. Many British people think, I don't have to learn a foreign language because everyone speaks English nowadays. This is partly true. In many multinational companies, for example, employees have to speak English as it is the company's official language of communication. What's the topic sentence? What do you think? What did you write? It's which one? I have here. It's D. Yeah? D. D said, motivation is obviously a problem. Because British people think I don't have to learn a foreign language. Don't have to. No tiene la necesidad. No tengo el por qué aprender un idioma. No traduzcáis no tengo que como obligación, no. Don't have to. No tengo la necesidad de aprender un idioma because everyone speaks English nowadays. ¿No? Many multinational companies, employees, los empleados, tienen que hablar inglés. Well, let's see number 3. Children only have to learn a language until they are 14. After that, they don't have to continue if they don't want to. 30% of young people say that they don't want to carry on with foreign language because it's too difficult. Then, mireu así, have to learn, tienen que, obligación, aprender un idioma hasta que tienen 14 años. Después, don't have to continue. It's not necessary. Don't have to. No necessary. They don't need. No se lo obliga, no hay necesidad de que continúen si ellos no quieren. 30%, 30% no quieren carry on, continuar con un idioma extranjero because it's too difficult. Then, the topic sentence is, which one do you think? Could be F. The situation in British schools doesn't help. No ayuda, of course. It's not compulsory, no es obligado. Not compulsory. Then 3F. Topic sentence F. Let's see number 4. A newspaper decided to find out by sending Max, one of its journalists, on an intensive language course. He then had to go to the country and do some tests to see if he could survive in different situations. Find out es averiguar. Un periódico decidió averiguar esta dificultad o el aprender idiomas enviando a Max, uno de sus periodistas, a un curso intensivo. Tenía que ir al país donde hablaban ese idioma y hacer unos tests. The topic sentence, which one do you think? Complicat? B. But what happened when a Brit tries to learn a language? Vamos a ver qué pasa. When an English person, a British person, goes to learn a language. 5. Max says, I like to visit Spain and Latin America in the future. If I go, I don't want to be the typical Brit who expects everyone else to speak English. He did a 1-month intensive course at the language school in London. Un curso intensivo solo de un mes y ya se vino a España a hacer el test. Then number 5. Which one did you write it down? C. Then Max decided to learn Spanish because I like to visit Spain and Latin America. And the last one, 6, it's the one missing. ¿Quién falta? Very good. A. So what happened after 4 weeks, after this 1-month intensive course? When his course finished, he went to Madrid for the weekend to do his test. A teacher called Paula met him there and gave him a mark out of 10 for each test, and then a final mark for everything. La profesora le llamaban Paula y le dio una nota sobre 10. A mark, una nota sobre 10 para cada test. Y después una nota final, la nota global. Well, what do you think? Do you think Max is going to do it well? Penso que va a hacerlo bien. Don't know. Well, copy this if it was right or not. And now here you have different questions. Read the article again, torneu a llegir-lo at home, and answer the questions with a partner. 1. What 2 examples does the writer give to show that the British are bad at learning languages? Quin dels exemples mos fica per a demostrar-nos que som molt mals en aprendre idiomes? The first example, they say some words, but when they know that, for example, the waiters, the other person speaks English, they stop trying the next English, they speak English, they stop using, stops using the foreign language. Quan veuen que saben parlar en anglès, ja paren. No? They don't try it, no ho intenten. And many British, the second example, many British living abroad are together and only speak English. It's amazing. It's true, yeah. Well, number two, sorry. Why does he or she think that British people aren't motivated to learn languages? Why do you think that British people are not motivated to learn English? Why, when there is no motivation? What do you think? Because they know that they don't need to. Don't need to es un sinónimo de don't, quedaremos hoy, don't have to learn it. Because everybody speaks English. Then there is no need. Number 3. What reason do many school children give for not wanting to study a foreign language? Quina és la raó que donen els xiquets per a no voler aprendre un segon idioma? Well, I don't want to study it because it's too difficult. Then it's too difficult. I don't want to make an effort. No puc esforçar-me. I know English, then I don't need it. I don't need Spanish, I don't need French, I don't need German. And that's true that they don't have motivation because there is no need. Number 4. How did a British newspaper try to find out if the British really are bad at learning language? Com ho feren? How do they do it? What kind of study or research did they do? Yeah, they sent one of his journalists. They sent one or a journalist, yeah, to take a test on an intensive course. Only 1 month, yeah, and he came here to Spain to do the test. Number 5. Why did Max decide to learn Spanish and how did he learn it? Then what's the reason why he decided to learn Spanish? Because he would like to, visit Spain and Latin American And how did he learn it? Well, 1 month intensive course. Yeah. And the last one, what did he do when he finished the course? Then he did an intensive course during a month, and after that, what did he do? Very good. He went to Madrid and did some tests to find out if he could survive, we could say, could survive using the language, using Spanish in this case. Well, this is the other way around. Està xulo veure com els anglesos es fiquen en el nostre lloc. Well, then, now these were the answers. Then pause the video if you want to take notes or whatever. Because now it's the time to know if Max did it well or not. And moreover, if it's possible to learn a language only with 1 month. Intensive one, but only with one month. Ready? Well, I need 12. I need another, where is it? Wait a minute, because I need another audio that I thought it was here, but it wasn't. Then we need to take it out. And here it is, the audio. Then we need this audio for you. I'm going to play the audio. Wait a minute. Ready? Steady. And go.
7.12.
There were 4 tests for me to complete in Madrid. I had to order a drink and a sandwich in a bar, ask the price and understand it. Then I had to ask for directions in the street and follow them. Then get a taxi to a famous place. And finally phone somebody and leave a message on their voicemail. There were just 3 rules. You mustn't use a dictionary or phrasebook app. You must only speak Spanish, and you mustn't use your hands or mime or write anything down.
Well, here you have. Listen to Max talking about the test and complete the gaps. Then, here you have how many tests. The first one, in the test, you have time. You know, now, today, we're going to deal with have time. Obligation. Tener que. ¿Qué es lo que tiene que hacer? Es un have time. And these are what does Max have to do. You have time. Order a drink and in a bar. Ask how much it is. Then the first test has to do with going to a bar or to a restaurant, and he has the obligation, then you have to order a drink, tiene que pedir una bebida y in a bar. We're going to listen to it again, tornem a escoltar-ho and complete. And understand the price, yeah? The second one, you have to ask for directions in the street. Tiene que pedir dirección, a una dirección en la calle, and them, which is the verb. Then number 3, he has to get to a famous place. Llegar a algún lugar emblemático, famoso de la ciudad. And the last one is leave a message on somebody's voicemail. Dejar un mensaje en el buzón de voz de alguien. Then go to a bar and ask for something. Then ask for directions. Get to a famous place and leave a message on somebody's voicemail. In the text, he has to follow certain rules. And these are the rules that Max has to follow. Tiene aquí unas normas que seguir. Look at this. You mustn't use a Facebook app. Then mustn't, lo veurem que és prohibition, no debes. Está prohibido, mustn't. What mustn't Max do? Creo que no lo pot fer. You mustn't use a Facebook app. You must only, must es otra manera de decir con obligación más moderada. You must only and you mustn't use your or mime or write anything down. Then listen again and fill in the gaps with vocabulary.
(7.12)
There were 4 tests for me to complete in Madrid. I had to order a drink and a sandwich in a bar, ask the price and understand it. Then I had to ask for directions in the street and follow them, then get a taxi to a famous place, and finally phone somebody and leave a message on their voicemail.
Well, you have to, obligation, order a drink and a very good sandwich. Number 2, ask for directions in the street and follow them, de seguirles, saber seguirles. Number 3, get to a famous place. What do you have to get? A taxi. And leave a message on somebody's voicemail. Now, which one are the rules?
There were just 3 rules. You mustn't use a dictionary or phrasebook app. You must only speak Spanish, and you mustn't use your hands or mime or write anything down.
Well, the same. You mustn't use a dictionary. Yeah, it's prohibited. The mustn't means prohibition. Yeah, you mustn't use a dictionary. Very important. I want this color. The number 4, you mustn't use a dictionary. Number 5, you must only, very important, you have to speak the language you are learning, then you must only speak Spanish. This was Mark. Speak Spanish, only speak Spanish. Yeah, you must only speak Spanish. And the last one, you mustn't use your, of course, hands or mime, per mímica, or write anything down. Yeah, then prohibited, use a dictionary or use hands. Well, this you have to order a sandwich, follow instructions, or get a taxi. And the rules, you mustn't use a dictionary, you must speak Spanish, you mustn't use your hand or mime. Which are modal verbs, meaning do this. Feu això. Quin modal expressa que n'hi ha que fer això? Obligation. Quin serà? Quin expressa obligation? You have to order a sandwich, follow the instructions, molt bé, and get a taxi, then have to. express obligation, and another one, you must speak Spanish. Then here you have today's class. To express obligation, we have to use have to, a strong obligation, yeah? A strong obligation, or must, it's a moral, más interna, but have to and must, tienes que hacer algo o debes hacer algo to express obligation. Which one means don't do this, it's prohibited. Then which one expresses prohibition? Very good. You mustn't use a dictionary. You mustn't use your hands or mind. Then to express prohibition, para expresar prohibición, me falta que estem el can't, that you can't smoke in here, you can't use Spanish at class, but it's more formal, mustn't. You mustn't smoke here, you mustn't drive on the other side. Then prohibition, vamos a dar que es mustn't, no debes hacer esto, está contra la ley, against the law, it's against the law. And which one it expresses, it's not necessary to do it. If you want, you do it, but it's not necessary. This one, everybody look at here. Many British people think, I don't have to learn a foreign language because everyone speaks English nowadays. I don't have to learn a foreign language. No tengo por qué de aprender, no hay necesidad de aprender. Entonces, cuando penséis que algo no es necesario, si quiero lo hago y si no, no, ¿vale? Vamos a hacer un no obligation, ¿vale? No obligation, if you want, you can do it or not, in English is don't have to. ¿Vale? You don't have to. For example, I don't have to work on Saturday. No tengo necesidad de trabajar el fin de semana. No es necesario. Si quiero lo hago y si no, no. No hay necesidad. Pero tengo que hacerlo porque si no, no termino mi trabajo, ¿entendéis? You don't need to come on Saturday. No es necesario que vengas el sábado a trabajar, pero si quieres, bien. There is no need. No traduzcáis, porque si hacemos Spanish translation, vamos a terminar mal. Mirad, yo no tengo que aprender. Parece que en castellano si traducimos es una prohibición, ¿verdad? Pero no traduzcáis así. Don't have to es don't need, it's not necessary, no obligation, no hay necesidad, ¿vale? For example, when something is free, cuando algo gratuito, you don't have to pay, no hay que pagar, ¿vale? No es necesario que pagar. Clear? Well, and here today we start today's class. Then, modal verbs. To express obligation, para expresar obligación, have to or must. Prohibition, mustn't. And no obligation, oh, don't need to, don't have to. ¿Vale? Well, let's start the explanation. I prepared this. This is my blackboard. This is my board. Well, look at here. Modal verbs. Today we're going to learn how can we express obligation, prohibition, and no obligation. There is no need, it isn't. Well, the first one, obligation. We can use have to, tener que hacer algo. Tercera persona del singular, has to, ¿vale? Por eso he puesto aquí he, she, it. Tercera persona del singular, has to, ¿vale? Y estos van seguidos todos de infinitivo. Have to, has to, más infinitivo, ¿vale? Que es una external obligation, a strong obligation. Es una obligación que viene impuesta por un gobierno. You have to pay the tax. Tienes que pagar impuestos. Por nuestro jefe, you have to come tomorrow early. Demà comencem a treballar més prompte. Tienes que vindre, has de vindre, have to, early. You have to work on Saturdays. Oh, has de vindre, és obligat. Or a moral obligation, internal obligation, per el teu bé. No és tan fort este must. ¿Vale? Significa deber, internal obligation. You must study. Sí que li diria al pare al fill, you must study. La teva obligació. You must study. Val? Per tant, obligació externa, have to, has to, per a tercera persona singular, o must. Todos estos van seguits de infinitiu. ¿Vale? Prohibition, mustn't. Està prohibit, mustn't. You mustn't smoke in here. It's against the law. Està en contra de la llei. ¿Vale? You mustn't smoke in here. Prohibited. It's not allowed. ¿Vale? Te puedo decir you can't smoke in here. ¿Vale? Pero mustn't es més formal. And the last one, don't translate, please. No obligation. When something is not necessary, there is no need, no necesario. Si quieres lo haces y si no, no. Sería el don't have to, más infinitivo, o tercera persona del singular. Pondríamos doesn't have to. En el presente simple, do o does. En el pasado, didn't. Then doesn't have to, tercera persona del singular, he doesn't have to go to work today. Él tiene necesidad de ir a trabajar hoy. Pero míralo, ya se va, porque quiere terminar la faena. ¿Vale? Entonces, obligation, have to or must. Prohibition, mustn't. And no obligation, there's no need, don't have to. O tercera persona del singular, doesn't have to. Clear? The explanation? Well, then everybody learn that. Take your box and go on page number 224, Unit 7C, Modal Verbs. Everybody? Yeah? Well, I have the explanation here. Tenemos la explicación igual. Have to, don't have to, must or mustn't. ¿Qué diferencia el must y el have to? ¿Vale? ¿Cómo se hace la afirmativa, la negativa, la interrogativa? ¿Vale? La explicación así. También os enviaré después de la clase un resumen súper chulo de los modales en inglés. Then, here you have the explanation. And now we are going to do this one. Then, I'm going to read it aloud. Voy a leerlo. Pause the video. Pareu el vídeo, que jo sé qui copia i qui no, perquè tinc una càmera en la vostra casa. Us recordeu d'això? Pareu el vídeo i ho feu. Després torneu a ficar el vídeo i jo corregiré. Clear? Well. What do you have to do in A? Complete the sentences with the correct form of have to. Aquí os oblidáis si es no obligation, obligation o prohibition. Aquí vamos a aprender cómo se forma el have to. El have to tiene que ir más un infinitivo. Pero acordaros que si fuera tercera persona del singular, tengo que poner el has. Y para negar, en el presente simple sería el don't o el doesn't. ¿Vale? Vamos a ver. I don't have to go to school on Saturday. No es necesario que vaya a la escuela los sábados. Pues si algún día voy, ¿alguien me va a denunciar? No. Well, number one, Janice. Penseu, Janice, tercera persona del singular, es ella. ¿Qué forma cogerá el have to? Study very hard. She has exams soon. Tiene que estudiar mucho porque tiene exámenes pronto. Two, you buy a ticket before you get on the bus. Tienes que comprar el billete antes de subir al autobús. 3. Your sister. Tercera persona del singular es ella. Le faltará el auxiliar, sujeto y infinitivo. Go to London for her job interview. Tu hermana tiene que ir a Londres para su entrevista de trabajo. 4. My, third person singular, es a. Wear a really ugly uniform at his new school. Tiene la obligación de llevar un uniforme horrible. Number 5. We get up early tomorrow. Tenemos que levantarnos temprano mañana. Harry, third person singular, tercera persona del singular, work today. He has a day off. To have a day off, tener el día libre es I have the day off, my day off. Entonces, si tiene el día libre, no es obligado que vaya a trabajar. Es una negativa aquí. ¿Vale? 7. Can you wait a moment? I tengo que make a phone call. And number 8, it's a question, interrogativa, falta el auxiliar. We have to go to bed. It's only 10 o'clock. ¿Qué dice esto los niños? Son las 10 aún. Tenemos que ir a dormir de verdad. Well, now, pause the video. Paremos el vídeo. Do it at home. Hazlo en casa. And after a minute, we'll correct. Do you do it? Sure, seguro que l'ho fet. Well, now, let's correct number 1. Janice, tercera persona del singular, has to, tiene que, y el infinitivo te lo ponen ellos. Study very hard. Tiene que estudiar. Tercera persona del singular le pongo has. ¿Vale? Well, 2. You buy a ticket. You have to buy a ticket. Tienes que comprar el billete antes de subir al avión, al autobús. ¿Ya? Voy a marcar que va el have to o el has to más un infinitivo. ¿Lo veis? Vale. Here it is. Your sister, tercera persona del singular. Entonces, ¿qué ponemos? Auxiliar. Does. Ya lo tengo así. Auxiliar, does. Sujeto, your sister, tercera persona del singular. ¿Y qué me falta? Have to go to London. Does your sister have to go to London? Tu hermana tiene que ir a Londres. El auxiliar, sujeto, infinitivo. Does your sister have to go to London for a job interview? ¿Tiene la obligación de ir a Londres? Mike, third person singular. Tercera persona singular, Mike, y el infinitivo es wear. Tiene que llevar un uniforme horrible. Si es tercera persona del singular, ¿qué ponemos? Very good. Has to wear an ugly uniform. Then, coge la forma has to más infinitivo. ¿Va bien? ¿Vale? Cuidado en la tercera persona del singular. Tenemos que levantarnos pronto. We have to get up early because our plane leaves at 6:30. Por tanto, el modal de obligación es have to más el verbo infinitivo. Number 6. Harry, third person singular, tercera persona del singular, work today. He has a day off. Tiene el día libre, entonces no es necesario. ¿Cómo hacemos la negativa? Tercera persona del singular, doesn't have to. ¿Vale? Porque es el día libre, no es necesario. Hacemos la negativa con el auxiliar de tercera persona del singular, doesn't have to, no tiene la necesidad de trabajar, doesn't have to work. ¿Vale? Let's see number 7. Can you wait a moment? Yo tengo que llamar por teléfono. Si es have to make a phone call. I have to. Tengo que hacer una llamada de teléfono. Very good. Come on. And number 8. It's a question. Then auxiliary. Do. Subject. We. And have to plus infinitive. Do we have to go to bed? It's only 10 o'clock. Nosotros tenemos que irnos ya a la cama. Es una obligación auxiliar. Sujeto. Have to más infinitivo. ¿Vale? Com ho teniu? Bé? Vale. Per tant, per a l'afirmativa serà have to més infinitiu. Si és tercera persona del singular, has to més infinitiu. Per a negar, don't o doesn't have to més infinitiu. I per a interrogativa, do o does, per a tercera persona del singular, have to més infinitiu. Clear? Bueno, doncs enviarem més deures per a casa. And now you have this one. B. Cycle the correct form, tick if both are possible. Quan menys tics milloren. Sols pot ser tick en el have to i en el must, però penseu que m'agradaria que distinguireu que have to és una external obligation, a strong obligation. Your boss, laws, rules, government. And must is a personal, internal obligation. Mustn't, prohibition, and don't have to, there is no need, no obligation. Then pause the video, pareu el video, and do it at home, and after 1 minute we'll correct. So let's start. Yeah. Cycle the correct form. Tick if both are possible. Example. We don't have to go, or we mustn't go to school next week. It's holiday. La semana que viene son vacaciones. No hay necesidad, no tenemos el por qué ir a la escuela o tenemos prohibido ir a la escuela. No hay una multa, porque si algún profesor dice, son vacaciones que vamos a recuperar, no pasa nada. Entonces, una obligación, una prohibición no es que no hay necesidad. There is no need. We don't have to go to school next week. ¿Vale? Number 1. You don't have to cross the road when the traffic lights are red. Los semáforos, traffic lights, está en rojo. No hay necesidad de cruzar la calle, la carretera. Or you mustn't cross the road. O está prohibido cruzar la carretera. Two. What do I have to, or what must I do when I finish this exercise? ¿Qué debo hacer? ¿O qué tengo que hacer cuando termine estos deberes? Number 3. The concert is free, gratuito. You don't have to pay. No es necesario que no se paga, no es necesario que pagues o no pagues. Prohibido pagar. Si no viene la policía y os multará. 4. We are late for the meeting. We have to go now. We must go now. 5. you don't have to leave the door open. The dog will get out. Or you mustn't leave the door open. The dog will get out. Depèn si us agraden els gossos o no, si te cau bé el gos o no, però penseu. No es necesario que dejes la puerta abierta, porque el perro se saldrá. O no dejes, prohibido, la puerta abierta porque si no el perro saldrá. Si os cae mal o no, depende. 6. I have to pay or I must pay Jen back the money she lent me. La obligación. ¿Qué tipo de obligación? Para devolver el dinero. 7. In Britain, you have to drive on the left or you must drive on the left. ¿Qué tipo de obligación? In Britain, conducir por la izquierda. And number 8. You don't have to be told to be good at football. Fica futbol, Que no inconscient seguirà llegint basketball. Then you don't have to be told to be good at football or you mustn't be told to be good at football. No hay necesidad de ser alto para ser bueno en el fútbol. O está prohibido ser alto para ser bueno en el fútbol. Pause the video, para el video, do it at home, on your own, quietly, and we'll correct. So, how was it? Number 1. You don't have to cross the road or you mustn't. ¿Está prohibido cruzar la carretera cuando están los semáforos rojos o no hay necesidad? Si quieres lo haces y si no, no. Of course, prohibition, you mustn't. It's prohibited. Es una norma, ¿no? 2. What do I have to do or what must I do when I finish this exercise? Vale. En este temario, en este nivel, pone que los dos son válidos. La obligación, ¿qué tengo que hacer o qué debo hacer? A mí me gustaría más have to, porque hacer con un profesor hay unas normas, ¿no? Vale, ¿qué tiene que hacer? Tú, como profesor, que me orientes a mí. El que must I do es per el meu bé que faig. Me gusta más have to, pero en este nivel las dos son obligation, las dos correctas, ¿vale? Number 3. The concert is free. Prohibition, mustn't, prohibido pagar, o no need, no hay necesidad, no hay obligación de pagar. Very good. No need, don't have to pay. No hay una policía multándote, no está prohibido. Don't have to, no necessary. Cuando penséis que no es necesario, es don't have to. 4. We are late for the meeting. Arribem tard. We have to go now or we must go now. Depende. Yo, si es una reunión de amigos, utilizaría el must. We must go now. Se van a enfadar. Pero si es con el jefe, we have to go now. Tenemos que irnos. La obligación es externa. Como aquí no sabemos qué clase de meeting, vamos a poner que los dos son obligation y las dos son válidas. ¿Vale? Number 5. You don't have to leave the door open or you mustn't leave the door open. Bueno, es tu perro, no quieres que se escape, lo quieres mucho, entonces prohibido dejar la puerta abierta. Mustn't leave the door open. Enteneu? Yeah? 6. I have to pay Jenny back the money she lent me or I must pay Jane back the money she lent me. En este nivel dice que los dos, obligación de devolver el dinero. ¿Pero qué tipo de obligación es? Yo creo que es más moral. I must pay Jen. Yo sé que debo hacerlo, ¿no? No está ni tu jefe, ni el gobierno, ni viene la policía a multarte si no le devuelves el dinero. Es más un deber interno, moral. ¿Lo entendéis? Pero en este nivel dice las dos obligation, have to, y must, y ningún problema. Number 7. In Britain, drive on the left. Conducir a la izquierda, que es por tu bien, o external obligation. External obligation. Pero en este nivel, ¿qué dice? que los dos son obligación y te lo da como bueno los dos. So you put don't have to drive on the left. It's a government, it's a country rule. And number 8, you don't have to be tall or you mustn't be tall. ¿Está prohibido ser alto para ser bueno en fútbol? ¿No te dejan participar? No. There is no need. No es necesario ser alto. Si eres bajito también puedes participar. Entonces es que no hay necesidad. Don't have to. Clear? Yeah? Well, I send you by mail. Vaig enviar-vos aquest esquema i un altre més ampliat, vale? Per a que ho tingueu clar. Obligation, estos dos. Prohibition, mustn't. I no obligation, there's no need, don't have to, or doesn't have to. And now it's the time. We are going to see and listen how Max did it in his test. Com li va anar Max en els tests així en Espanya, in Madrid. Vale? Arribarà Paula to meet him, quedarà amb ell, and he's going to start doing the test. Then it's a listening. Then everybody, let's go back in your book. Torneu al vostre llibre. On page, oh no, sorry, not the listening yet. Que us he preparat una cosa. Sorry. Please, everybody, go on page 191. Take your books and open page 191. Everybody. And on this page, you have this. 7C, what are the rules? ¿Quiénes son las normas? ¿Cuáles son las reglas del juego? We are going to see, vamos a ver, common signs and notices in English. Señales, carteles muy típicos ingleses que te muestran rules, las normas a seguir en un local, en un hotel, en un edificio. Then it's very important this. We have 6 pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I thought you only had 6. No problem. Then you have to look at these notices and signs, and you have to fill in these 6 sentences. Teniu que omplir aquestes 6 oracions using have to, obligation, external obligation, perquè algú l'ha ficat aquest cartell. Don't have to, there is no need, no obligation. Must, un deber más moral. Or mustn't, prohibition, and one of these verbs. Be, pay, take, touch, turn off, wear. For example, look at number 1. This is a mobile phone and a warning sign. The signpost, could be a circular one of prohibition. Then, what kind of prohibition with you and your phone? What do you think? It's a prohibition. Then what's the prohibition? You mustn't. Be? No. Pay? No. Take your phone? No. Touch your phone? Turn off? Oh, then it's you have to. It's an obligation. You have to turn off your mobile phone. Then what this sign means? Obligation. You are obliged. Tienes la obligación de apagar tu teléfono. You have to turn off. Then when you see this sign, the meaning, the message is you have to turn off your phone. Tienes que apagar el móvil. Then I'm going to explain the signs. Explicamos estos señals and think one modal verb and one of these, filling the gaps. Number 2, it says, adults, £10. Children, free. This is a restaurant, maybe, or I don't know where it is, but it says, jacket required. Se requiere chaqueta. Or you are going to sitting on a bench. No sentarse en un banco y fica, wet paint. Pintura húmeda aún. Recién pintado traduciríamos. Este wet paint es recién pintado. Number 5 is the cinema box. 18. It's Dracula, the film on. 18 years old. Number 6. There is a camera with a sign of prohibition. Then what's the prohibition? Number 6. You photos here. The cinema, you over 18 to see this film. Number 4. Recién pintado. You, the door. Es una puerta. And number 3, jacket require. You, a jacket. And if you want, como parareu el vídeo, teniu temps per a fer això. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, think about distractions. Pensareu les instruccions quines poden ser. Vale? Bueno, ficaré si vais, però seran més llargues. Per vosaltres heu de fer les oracions. Number 7. Nothing to pay until January. No has de pagar res fins a gener. No problem. Number 8. No ball games from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. No ball games. No ball games. Then prohibition. Number 9. Look at this sign. A person is standing on the train. The feet are on the seat and it's prohibited. No feet on the seat. Está prohibido poner los pies encima del asiento. And number 10. Oh my God, it's very tiny. It's really tiny, but you can see it. You have it in your book. Class times. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday from 9 to 12, it's optional. Then Monday, it's optional. If you want, you go. If you don't want, you don't go. And there is an option here. 11, it's an obligation, one way. Only one way it's permitted. And 12, sport shoes obligatory. Es una obligación de ponerse deportivas para entrar. Then now, take your time, agafeu-se el vostre temps, and complete the sentences using have to or must, obligation, don't have to, no obligation, no necessary, or mustn't, prohibition. And after that, we'll correct together. Ready? How was it? Well, let's correct the rules. Number 2, remember, adults £10, children free. Then children, there you have the heading. Children don't have to pay. No necessary, no obligation, it's free, don't have to pay, no tienen que pagar, no obligation, no es necesario que paguen. 3, jacket required. Jacket required. Then you have to or must, es dos son válids, you must or you have to wear a jacket. Yeah, you have to wear a jacket. Number 4, wet painted, recién pintado. Then you mustn't, claro, está prohibido. You mustn't touch the door. Está prohibido, mustn't, tocar la puerta. Está recién pintado. You mustn't touch. No puedo decir, no es necesario, si quieres la tocas, si no, no, te quedas ahí pegado. No, it's prohibited. You mustn't touch the door. It's wet paint. There is wet paint. Number 5. You over 18 to see the film. Then you have the obligation. You must or you have to. Aunque have to, puedo ficar must. Be over 18. Tienes que ser mayor de 18 años. Then the camera, it's a prohibition sign. Then you mustn't take photos. Well, this is a typical sign. Esto es típico de un museo. You mustn't take photos with this. Or you can see on a bench or on a door wet paint. Then you mustn't touch it. And it's very common when you travel abroad. Quan viatgeu junts a l'estranger. Then these were the answers. Was it correct? Yeah. And now we are going to do the sentences. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then number 7. Nothing to pay until January. No hay que pagar hasta enero. ¿Qué ficaría? You don't have to pay until January. Claro, no es necesario que pagues hasta enero. En enero ya te pasaremos el recibo, ¿eh? No necesario, no obligado. No hay que pagar nada hasta enero, no es obligado. Don't have to pay. No ball games. No ball games, it's prohibition. Then you mustn't play ball games here. From 8 to 8, of course. From 8 to 7, sorry. Then you mustn't play ball games here. Then it's prohibited. Number 9, look at the sign. There is a man. The feet are standing on a bench. What do you think? It's prohibition, yeah. Then you mustn't what? Put your feet on the seat. It appears a lot on buses or trains. En els autobusos ho fiquen molt i els trens també. You mustn't put your feet on the seat. Está prohibido poner los pies. And they have to pay high fines. Han de pagar multes molt elevades. It's prohibited. 10. Tuesday and Wednesday are compulsory, son obligadas las horas de clase, but on Mondays it's optional. Then you don't have to come to class on Mondays. Then no obligation to come to class on Mondays because it's optional. 11. One way. Obligation. Then you must or you have to drive in one direction. Very good. And the last one, you go to a sports center and you say sports shoes obligatory. Then, if it's an obligation, which modal verb? You must, pero yo significaría have to, external. It's the management. It's the center what establishes the rule. Yo ficaría més un have to. You have to wear or you have to use sports shoes in the center. No es un deber moral por tu bien, sino es alguien establece unas normas. Me gusta más have to wear sports. Then here, obligatory, have to or must, prohibition, mustn't, and you don't have to. No obligation, don't have to. Clear? How was it? Review, Fabian? Yeah? Well, and now, after doing this, is the time. How do you think did Max do in his test? ¿Cómo farà este chico his test in Madrid? Ready to listen to him? Then now, go back on page 102, a la 102. 102, por favor. And on page 102, you have for listening. And it says, look at Max's test again. Which test do you think was the easiest for him? ¿Quién será más fácil? Go to the bar and ask for a sandwich and something to drink. Ask for directions and follow them. Pedir direcciones y seguirlas. Or get a taxi. Coger un taxi. Or leave a message on a voicemail. O dejar un mensaje en el buzón de voz. What do you think? And which was, in your opinion, the most difficult? After that, you have here a listening. Then listen again and says true or false and correct the false ones. Remember, I'm going to play the listening, but you can listen to it as many times as you want. Yeah? Jo fico una vegada, però podeu parar el vídeo, tornar a escoltar, teniu en el Oxford Online Practice estos listenings, per tant podeu anar treballant el vídeo al vostre ritme. Then, number 1. The waiter didn't understand Max. ¿Qué penseu? ¿Entendrà o no a Max, el camarero? 2. The bill was €6.90. La cuenta, ¿no? 6,90 €. 3. The chemist was the first street on the right. La farmacia, se ve que decide ir a una farmacia. Estaba en la primera calle a la derecha. 4. The driver, el taxista, understood the name of the stadium. Sí que entendió el nombre del estadio. 5. Max made a grammar mistake when he left the voicemail message. ¿Cometió algún error gramatical cuando dejó el mensaje? 6. Max's final mark was 8. Nota final, un 8. Very good. And Max says, you can learn the language in a month. Diu que sí que puedes aprender un idioma en un mes. Well, it's the time. We're going to listen. How did he do it?
(7.12)
There were 4 tests for me to complete in Madrid. I had to order a drink and a sandwich in a bar, ask the price and understand it.
Oh, it's not this one, sorry. It's this one, I think. Yeah, this one.
7.15
Now, here it is.
I arrived at Madrid airport where I met Paula. Hola, soy Max.
Encantada, soy Paula.
Paula took me to my hotel, and that evening we went to the centre of Madrid, and it was time for my first test. I had to order a sandwich and a drink in a bar, then ask for the bill. I sat down at the bar and I tried to order a beer and a ham sandwich. Por favor, una cerveza y un bocadillo de jamón.
Enseguida.
Fantastic! The waiter understood me first time. My pronunciation wasn't perfect, but I got my beer and my sandwich.
Communication.
I really enjoyed it.
Very good.
But then the more difficult bit, asking for the bill. ¿Cuánto es?
6,90.
¿Cómo?
6,90.
6.90. I understood. Paula gave me 8 points for the test.
Very easy.
I was
for
very
us.
happy with that.
Spanish
Next,
people.
we went out into the street. Test number 2 was asking for directions and, very important, understanding them. We were in a narrow street, and I had to stop someone and ask them for the nearest chemist, una farmacia. I stopped a woman. At first, I didn't understand anything she said.
Siga todo recto y tome la segunda por la derecha. Hay una farmacia en esa calle.
I asked the woman to speak more slowly.
Todo recto y tome la segunda calle por la derecha. ¡Derecha!
I got it this time, I think. The second street on the right. I followed the directions and guess what? There was a chemist there. 7 points from Paula. Test number 3. I wasn't looking forward to this one. I had to get a taxi to a famous place in Madrid. Paula wrote down the name of the place on a piece of paper. It was the name of the football stadium where Real Madrid play. We stopped a taxi. El Bernabéu, por favor.
¿Qué? ¿Dónde?
He didn't understand me. I tried again, but he still didn't understand. I was desperate, so I said, Real Madrid Stadium, football.
Ah, el Santiago Bernabéu.
Finally. Paula only gave me 5 because I ended up using English. Still, at least I made the taxi driver understand where I wanted to go. And so, to the final test. I had to leave a message in Spanish on somebody's voicemail. I had to give my name, spell it, and ask the person to call me back. Paula gave me the number. It was one of her friends called Lola, and I dialed. I was feeling a bit nervous at this point because speaking on the phone in a foreign language is never easy.
Deje su mensaje después de la señal.
Buenas noches. Soy Max. Max. M-A-X. Por favor, llámame esta noche. Oh, yes. A las 8:30. Gracias. Well, my grammar wasn't right, but I left the message. Half an hour later, at 8:30, Lola phoned me. Success! Paula gave me 8 points. That was the end of my 4 tests. Paula was pleased with me. My final score was 7. I was quite happy with that. So, how much can you learn in a month? Well, of course you can't learn Spanish in a month, but you can learn enough to survive if you're on holiday or on a trip. Now I want to go back to England and try and learn some more. Adiós!
Well, very funny, wasn't it? Molt graciós, perquè com otros parlen en València, espanyol però ho entenem tot, Patimayen. Maybe you were laughing. Esteu rient-se quan diu por favor. Vale, penseu com, quan nosaltres parlem anglès, com sonarem, no? M'agrada fer esta mimètica per això. Estem rient-se de dir por favor. Se burlem molt, però i nosaltres com? Then, it's a kind of reflection. And if you want to listen to it again, voleu tornar a escoltar-ho, teniu el vídeo, podeu escoltar-lo totes les vegades que vulgueu. But now we're going to correct. Number 1. The waiter didn't understand Max. False. He understood him. Sí que lo va entendre perfectament bé. Y suposo que esta tenemos todos clara. The bill was $6.90. Sí, porque entendemos el castellano. Entonces, perfecto. True. 3. The chemist was the first street on the right. También hablamos castellano, tenemos ventaja. False. It was the second street on the right. Igual a la segunda a la derecha. It's the second on the street. Number 4. The driver understood the name of the stadium? No. It was at the second time. He had to repeat it again Va tindre que repetir-ho moltes vegades. Al final va dir Santiago Bernabéu al final. No? Then didn't understand him. Number 5. Max made a grammar mistake when he left the voicemail. Yes, true. Llámame. 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 No? Llamarme. Then there was a grammar mistake, but there was communication. Lo importante es que hay comunicación, ¿vale? The voicemail test, el test de dejar el mensaje de voz tiene un 8. Pero la nota final, was it 8? No, 7 out of 10. En la final va a ser un 7. And what's Max's opinion? Can you learn a language for a month? In a month? No, it's impossible. It's false. You can learn it to survive when you are on holiday, but you can't learn. It's impossible to learn a language in a month. Well, I like this to realize the importance of learning a language and how difficult it is. Well, we finish here. Acabem així. I ara vos enviaré l'esquema, la teoria dels modals, val? Però és fàcil de veritat en l'esquema. Per tant, have to or must és per a la obligation. Have to és més forta, més externa, o el jefe o l'empresa o el govern. Must és un deber moral, must study. Mustn't, prohibition, prohibició. Y don't have to o doesn't have to, no hay necesidad de pagar, no es necesario trabajar los sábados, no es necesario ir muy elegante para la fiesta. ¿Vale? Then, for homework, para los deberes, I'm going to send you a grammar bank and exercises and an explanation. Then, happy weekend and see you next Monday and learn modal verbs. Bye-bye and see you on Monday.